Hello guys, it's Thomas, and today I'm going to try something even more different. I'm going to show you guys how to take apart the first section, I guess, of a Nintendo Game Boy SP Game Boy Advanced SP without destroying it. So, things you need. Game Boy SP. You need a Phillips screwdriver. You need a tri-point screwdriver. You can buy these at Fry's or you can buy it off eBay. If you don't know what Fry's is, it's like a computer goods store. You can buy it for about $3, I think. They're also used for opening battery cases on Macs and essentially everything from Nintendo. And you're going to want a game to test out that it actually works, beforehand and after. So, powering it on, turns on, put in the game, power it on, and it'll work. That's just that. Press any key, and so there you have the proof that it works beforehand. So now let's turn it back off, because we do not want it on while we're working on it. So let's take out the game, and then the next, if I can get this game out, I have no fingernails, so it's not easy. Just put the game to the side for now. So the first thing you're going to want to do, take out the battery. You do not want to be electrocuted while doing this, or you don't want to short circuit it. So you get a Phillips screwdriver, and all these screws are tiny, so it's a little bit hard to get everything right. And plus the fact that this is not the right size screwdriver, it's tiny. I'm not even sure you can easily buy stuff that's for that size. So because my screwdriver is not the right size, I'm just having to rely on pushing down harder to get it open. And you're going to want a white background, because you will not be able to see the screws. You will lose the screws. Because the screws are tiny, I'm going to have to be separating them into different groups. So let's put that out on the side. And so you're going to want to take out the battery. Just give it a good toss. Battery's tiny. You're going to want to remember which way you put it in. It will only go in one way. So I'm going to set that off to the side again too. And so now you see, you have 6 screws that you take out with a tri-point. The first 4 are a little obvious. These 4. Make sure not to strip them, because they're not easy to get to. You can't take them out unless you want to destroy them with a drill. Take them out, which I have seen other people do. So that one's probably out right now. And the other way I've seen other people do is literally just destroy the screw in the process, but I want to preserve the screws. So that screw's out. You can feel it clicking over itself. This one I did in a little tighter. I've already done this before, and just so I could do it a little faster in part 1. That one's out, and so I don't destroy anything in the process. So yeah, the tri-point screwdriver, they only essentially come in one size, at least one main size. You can get them in other sizes, but they pretty much come in one size. So I have the 4 screws out. The 4 screws are in the same size. I'm going to put those all right over here. I'm not even sure you're going to be able to see those on the camera. Let me just check. Nope, they're tiny. You'll just barely be able to see them, but they're all in different sizes, so you're going to want to keep them all separate. Next, you have the one that's like right there at the bottom. Another tri-point. Okay. This one's a different size, but then a different little stack right there. Now we have the one up top, which is also a different size. And you only needed the tri-point for taking off the very outermost screws, because after that, it's just Phillips. So we're going to hold it down so I don't have any of the buttons or anything flying out. I guess I have to unscrew that one more. Yep, there it's out. We can just get it out. Because, like I said, they're all tiny. My fingers are too fat for this. Okay. Another one of different size. So now we have the first layer off. You can unscrew that, but you don't really need to. That's just a nice little covering to make it look better. And so the next step you're going to want to do is take out the buttons, the right trigger and left trigger. Now you're going to want to be very careful for this, and flip it around so you can see it better than the way you normally look at it. Because there are springs and there's a little shaft, I guess that's the only way to call it. So the way I pick it up is I pick it up kind of by the shaft. I try to pinch that so that it doesn't fall out. and I got it. So I'm going to try to get you guys to see this. I'm going to take this little shaft off and this little spring. So if you can see, you'll barely be able to see shaft. I mean, this is the spring. I'm not even sure you can be able to see that. It's barely showing up. That's very hard to see. I can't see it at all without my glasses on. Remember the shaft. Might be able to see that there. And they're symmetrical. So I'll go tell you how to put those back together later in another episode. For this one, I'm just taking the main components out and off. So you're going to want, you actually need to keep, the spring is specific for the trigger, so you're going to want to keep them all together. I don't know, where am I going to put them? I'm going to put them over here. Is that even in the field of view? Just barely. Push those down a little bit more. So that would be the left trigger. Over here, I'm just going to take out the right trigger to repeat that quickly. Okay, so yeah, it's specific, so you don't want to mess that up. So there's the other one. Got that out pretty quickly. Now you're going to want to take out the, I think it's the volume control. Let me see. Yeah, I think it's volume. I'm not sure. It pops out right here. You might not be able to see it. This is, I'm recording 720p, not the best quality, but you can just slide it in, use it, slide it back out, put that by the triggers. And so now you see the actual circuit board. Let me try to get my head out of the way so you can see that a little better. But it has certification numbers, Nintendo logo, CPU, I think. Let me see, I can't really see that. Yeah, CPU, processor, buttons. You can still see the buttons. Perfectly fine, you can still use them. Just don't have that nice covering on. And then just all the other circuits. So we're going to take that apart now. So now it's time for the Phillips. We can put just the tripod to the side. There's 3 screws holding the whole thing in. You're going to want to be pretty delicate, because if you miss and scratch this up, actually I should go prove to y'all that it still works at this point. Even though I have everything off, I don't want to short circuit it though, so I need to be kind of careful for that. So remember, warnings are up. That's just how I remember it. I'm going to put that in. Put in the game card. Don't remember which way it goes in. Yeah, it goes in this way without the cover on. So you just want to slide that in and on. Okay, push the battery so the contacts are on. Turns on. I should probably open it up. It's a little bit hard to do with all this. Just turn it back off, I think. Okay, off. Turn it on. I'm having to hold the battery currently in place. Where's the little slider? There it is. Oh, no. So the thing was actually for the power. So there it's on. Still functions. I'm going to turn it off, so I hope you don't short circuit anything. Turn it off, close it back. Take out the battery. So we know it still works at this point. You can take out the game card. Place that back. Back over here, I guess. And so let's take apart the next screws. Like I said, you're going to need a Phillips. Be careful not to scratch it, since that would not be good. And if I can get this in, I guess they're just so tiny. And that's why I'm doing this on a white background, so I can actually see the screws. Because if I was doing this on the carpet behind me, you can just barely see, I would lose the screws. And I learned that when I took this apart the first time. I accidentally lost a screw. It took me about 30 minutes of finding, and I was doing this about midnight, so I was a little tired. And luckily for me, magnetic screwdriver. I haven't corrupted anything yet or killed anything with it. It's barely magnetized at all. But it's very useful in scenarios like this. So we're taking all that apart. And the screws are kind of color-coded. Like those are slightly green, slightly bronzy-ish. Yeah, slightly like bronze and regular old screws. And now they're all sticking. So, not sure you're going to be able to tell the different colors, but they're very slightly different colors, in case you get confused. So now the main circuit board is out. And be careful with this. So there's, you see there's actually the connection to the screen right there. We're going to take the part of that out, little screw hiding underneath there. And so let's take that out. Okay, get that with a magnetic screwdriver. Like I said, all these screws are pretty much different, so you want to put them in different places. So now that we took that out, that little screw right there, let's put this back in. This part comes out, so let's put that over there. And that is how you take apart for the first section. So let's flip this back around. And now, if you look right there, you can see the actual cable. You can barely see it. If I turn it around, you'll be able to see it better. Right there in between, you can just barely see it. And that will be summing this up for the first part, because I've not gone farther into this for the second part. And I should remind you, the buttons, I would actually just made a super mistake. The buttons, if I take out the circuit board, these buttons would all fall out. So try not to do that, because the buttons are very specific in the way they go together. So yeah. Thank you for watching part 1 of this little short tutorial. Leave a like or favorite, and adios.